Are you a woman over 50 who feels like there's something off at work? Maybe you've been feeling it for the last few months, or something's just kicked in. Are you feeling undervalued? Check. Are you feeling like your opinions are being dismissed in meetings, either by your boss or by colleagues or by both? Maybe you've just been overlooked for a promotion, or you're even feeling physically threatened or verbally threatened at work. You feel demoralized. You don't want to get up in the morning. You don't want to go to work in the morning. You're phoning in sick a lot. You might even feel very, very low and even depressed. I felt exactly that way. You are not alone. Thousands upon thousands of women in midlife feel like this at work, or have felt like this at work at some stage in their lives. We try and ignore it, and then we try and figure out why it's happening, who's behind it. I've had to reconcile actually the fact that I might never know any of those answers. And what I've had to do is take the bull by the horns, try and deal with the situation every day with grace, without swearing at a load of people. All so I can plot my next move. I've got some solutions for you. Do you want to hear them? Good. Let's go. Hello, Bab. I'm Marverine. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, a very warm welcome. My channel's all about helping women who are in middle age, who are in midlife, who might have come to a crossroads. You're either stuck in life and working life, in your relationships, your dating, your finances. I'm in my 50s, transformed my life from a shy, awkward girl to a TV news reader. I'm not perfect, but I've learned a lot of tough lessons. And I'm hoping that what I share with you might help you get through some of those struggles a lot faster. Now, how to get out of a toxic workplace. Let's talk about the data. Two pieces of really interesting information came out in 2023. The first, by the American Psychological Association, said that 19% of workers feel like they are in a toxic workplace. Meanwhile, a study by Oak Engage in the UK found that 75% of people said they've experienced a toxic workplace culture, and that 87% of people said that affected their mental health. And this is the way that toxicity shows up in the workplace. You might be bullied by a colleague or your boss, or harassed by a member of staff. You might be asked to work way longer hours than you're contracted to, or you might be experiencing slurs, discrimination against you, directed at you because you're a different faith or race or gender or disability. If you're ticking one or all of those, you are in a toxic workplace. And if you're already liking this video and you want to hear more from me, then hit like, subscribe, the notification bell as well, and share it with your friends. If you delve into the description box, you'll find lots of good stuff, all designed by me and curated by me just for you. Wellness items, journals, inspirational mugs, even some workbooks to help you through some of the issues I'm talking about. So join in. Back to it. I just want to preface this video by saying that these are all my personal ideas and solutions. And also, I want you really to think critically around everything I'm going to say. Look, I'm in my 50s. I'm a woman. I'm black. I'm of African Caribbean heritage. So I'm absolutely under no illusion that not all of these solutions, maybe none of these solutions are going to work for you in particular if you are deemed to be by someone else an easy target for discrimination and hate. And I know about all the intersections. I've just told you I'm a woman, I'm black, and I'm in my 50s. You might be neurodiverse. You might be from the LGBTQ community. You might have a faith that someone just doesn't like or disagree with. I understand that the intersectionality of our difference could be a catalyst for somebody, and I am not justifying any bad behaviour around a toxic workplace. I have always lived by the fact that we should embrace our differences and no one should be discriminated against because they are deemed different. So everything I'm telling you here today, like I said, please think critically around it and decide for yourself whether or not you want to try any of these solutions. But I'm here for you, and if ever you need me, there's a link in my description box, and You can also find out how you can have a conversation with me one-to-one if you feel you need it. So remember the days when you used to leave the office at 5 o'clock and go home and there'd be no contact? Well, of course, we're living in the internet age where our phones are always on, and you might be in a position where your boss is messaging you when you're having your dinner at like 6, 7 o'clock, going, yes, remember that action point for the 9 o'clock meeting in the morning. Well, the constant pressure can lead to chronic stress. Studies show that there is an increased chance of burnout where you're put in a position where there's high demand on you and you have a low amount of control. But you can break free and reclaim some of that control. Let me show you how. Setting boundaries is a surefire route to self-respect. So get savvy. Use the do not disturb function on your phone. Put your out of office on when you're not in the office. Make it clear what the hours are that you're working. People will have to listen. Train your boss. Remember when I said they might message you and go, yes, please remember this action point for the meeting at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Just reply, I'll action that in the morning. They'll learn soon enough. I think you've got to be rugged with yourself. You've got to enforce a communication blackout. No phone, no work emails as soon as you get home and at weekends. Set or reset those boundaries clearly and communicate them to everyone if you want to. If you don't want to, then at least make a start with setting those boundaries. From the very next day you're in work, people will soon catch on. Some might be curious and ask you about why. Your boss might challenge you, but stand firm. This is your time. This is one of your strategies in handling the toxicity in your workplace. And the impact, of course, is that you're going to feel like you're calm, you're serene, you're going to be able to focus back on your partner, your family, your friends, your relationships. Isn't that going to feel beautiful? Okay, you've tried hack 1. It doesn't seem to be working. The bad behavior seems to be going a bit orbital. But you can't prove everything. It feels quite subtle. But what you can do is exercise resistance. Document everything. You need to grab a fresh journal and start writing down details of all the incidents. Not just this happened today, the date, the time, with whom, any witnesses, the location, what exactly happened. Take that journal home. Never leave it at work. Never, ever, ever leave it at work. Now, technology is going to stand you in such good stead here. If you have a Google Drive or a OneDrive, make sure that everything you write up, you save to that drive, you open that drive up at home, you download it all. When you've downloaded it all, make sure that back at work you delete every trace of it in the drive and also in your downloads or on your desktop. Delete all traces, but you must have those records at home for the next step. Do you remember Cagney and Lacey? I used to love watching them on TV. They were the top female super sleuths of the 80s. I want you to choose whichever was your favourite and pretend to be her. Embody Cagney, embody Lacey. Become a super sleuth. Track all of the behaviour that you have written and taken home, that you've downloaded from your machine at work. Is it the same person who's involved in this behaviour? Is it the same set of people? Is it a particular time? Is it around the monthly meeting where perhaps you've made a suggestion and your boss has shot you down in flames and belittled you in front of everyone else? Does this happen every monthly meeting? Because once you're armed with that information, then, and I know it's not fair to modify your behaviour, but for a meeting, plan, get all the data, get all the metrics, get all the research evidence ready to counterbalance any rejection, any argument from your boss or colleagues. If bad behaviour is happening in a particular location, make sure you're not in the same room with that person on your own. You don't go to that location. You keep an eye on people around you. Yes, it's going to be exhausting. Yes, it's going to make you feel as if you're going to break down, but it's essential to have all of this information and be armed with it to be on your guard for any future bad behaviour. Why do you need it all? Well, you need it to be ready just in case you need to put in a formal grievance, or you need to go further and engage a solicitor to discuss a potential tribunal. But what it's also going to do is make you feel better that you are taking control of the situation and you are looking for a path to solve it in its entirety. Okay, so you've tried hack 1, setting your boundaries. You've also tried hack 2, documenting everything. And the behaviour is still going on. The bullying, the harassment, the belittling, the undermining, the undervaluing, it is still happening. Your creativity is stifled. You feel trapped. You need to be free. What do we do next? You got to start looking outside. You've got to start cultivating your escape pod. Preparing the parachute. It is time, but don't go too soon. You've got to plan. Now, I know potentially if you've been in a job for a very long time, the same job, you've moved through the ranks, the thought of working anywhere else is going to petrify you. I know this. I've done a lot of job hopping. I've been in staff jobs, permanent staff, in a corporate company, but I've also been freelance and I've worked across a multitude of industries. You only have to look at the skills system to get a sense of some of the jobs I've done. And I will do a full video on all of those. But it might be time. We're in a world now where there's less stigma around people moving jobs. We're in a contract world. We're in a gig economy. It'll be understandable as long as you explain what you've been doing and your achievements in each job when it comes to putting your CV together. But now you need to figure out what you're going to do if you're going to leave this toxic workplace for good and grab your freedom. But what does your freedom look like? You are going to have to draw up a list of what that might be. It might be a career change. It might be a side hustle. It might be a new job in the same field. So if you haven't written a CV, a resume in a long time, here we go. I've got a video called The Skills System. Go and watch that. It's my system to look back on what you've done, to recognize your passions and the skills that you might have forgotten about or downplayed, to help you draw up your list of transferable skills so you can pop those on the resume, pop those on the CV and get applying for those new jobs. So that's your first step. Is it volunteering? Is it a course of study, learning a new language? Figure out what that is. Figure out what's going to make you feel like you're more valued, but something that maybe you still want to be able to balance with struggling along in the toxic workplace. And I know I just kind of roll my eyes around that, but I do understand, again, in the same way I've said about thinking critically around your intersectionality, your unique situation is going to impact how you decide to get yourself out of the toxic workplace. Cost of living crisis, wherever you are in the world, everything costs more and the money that we earn does not go as far. This is where we are right now. So understand, you might not be able to jump ship and leave the job completely, but if you can do something creatively and that frees your brain from the toxicity of the workplace every day, then maybe look at that. Is it taking a new course of study? Is it trying that side hustle? I'm going to do a video about all the different side hustles that you can do as a woman in middle age. And boy, there are a lot to earn a little extra money on the side. So that's it for the toxic workplace hacks. If you want more videos from me on how to handle midlife struggles, plenty on my channel. Thanks for watching. See you soon.